today I'm going to talk about this book, The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. Don't know exactly how to pronounce his last name, but let's go with Gwynne. And I love the cover so much for this book. If you look closely, it's this dragon, this gnarled, messed up, cut and bruised dragon with this really angry look, and then this teeny weeny little knight that's going to fight the dragon. Yeah, good luck with that, man. I'm sure that will work out wonderfully for you. So just the cover alone made me want to read this book, and I'm so glad I did. The author is a really interesting person, I think. He is like a huge fan of Viking lore, so he has pushed a lot of that into the book, and me as a Scandinavian, I recognize so many of the words and the creatures in the book because they are inspired by Scandinavian folklore. So like my favorite monster from childhood is in the book, Näcken. It's a water spirit that drowns you with and lures you with his music. So that's also a bit jarring because he uses Scandinavian words, like it's Danish, Norwegian, Swedish. It's also so much Icelandic in this book. So I read the English and then my language comes and I get all jumbled around. But he must have put so much study and research into this book because it's so well done. And he also uses language a lot when he casts spells. So we have like creatures. We have creatures in this book, like gnarly creature things. And we also have, like, if you are to describe it, I would say like were creatures. Because once upon a time there were gods, and the gods had children among the humans in some way. I don't really understand how, but they did. And if it was a bear god, his human children could take on the shape of a bear and had the strength of a bear. And there were gods like bear god, a wolf god, a dog god, a rat god, a bird god. And they had this father god that was a serpent. And maybe there was a dragon god that might also have been just fairy tales, we're not sure. These people lives in the society and are hunted down and enslaved by a slave collar and are controlled by magic. So the owner of the slave speaks Icelandic, and that's the magic. Icelandic is magic. Huzzah! So if you are interested, you can Google all the words, Google Translate, and you understand the spells and the words. And I also noticed that a lot of the names have extra meaning and are also a lot of Scandinavian names. So to go back to the world, once upon a time there were gods. It was the father god and the many gods that were his children. And the gods hated the father god and killed him. And then they killed each other. They were not the nicest. So all the gods are dead. But the children of the gods are still amongst us. or amongst the people in this world. And we have like a witch type of people, and they are the children from the snake father god. They can do magic and sing to sea serpents, and otherwise people take after the god they are connected to. So like those who spring from the wolf god can get this really fighting attitude and be really violent. The bear thingies, they can take on the shape of a bear, and those that descend from the dog god, they have like a nose that can track smells like nothing else. If they get your scent, you are screwed. There's no chance to escape. So we have that, and then we have the normal people, and gods are hated because they destroy like everything. So the descendants of the gods are not really liked, so that's why they are hunted down and enslaved, and the enslaved god children, or whatever you want to call them, are used to hunt down other descendants, and well, their lives are pretty gnarly and horrible. People of power often uses them to strengthen their own positions. So in this world we follow 3 people. We have Varg, and his name is the Swedish word for wolf. He is an escaped prisoner. His sister was killed. She was also a slave. So he has vowed to avenge her murder. He has to figure out who killed her. So he wants to summon her spirit. So he needs a witch. That's my word. That's not what they are called in this book, but a witch-like person. So he gets into this mess of a situation. And his big struggle is that he finds this place where he feels like he belongs with people he really connects to. And he's never had that because he's a slave, but he has to give everything up, maybe, to follow the promise he made to his dead sister. So that's the struggle with him. A very interesting person. I really feel bad for him. And then we have Orka. I don't know if this was the author's intent, but in my language, Orka means to have the strength to do something. If you like have the energy to do something. Oh, I want to climb a mountain. I orka do that. Or no, I will not climb the mountain because no way I orka do that. So, well, at least that's what I'm reading into it. And she is really complex. She's hard to figure out because she has this really hard, gnarly, scruffy shell around her. And when you poke through that, she seems like a very warm and gentle person beneath, but she has so many layers of protection. So it's not easy to get to that warm core. And what we do know about her is that she has a past with where she was forced to fight. It was fighting, violence, struggles. So and that's why she has so many layers of armor around her. And she is married to this man, and they have a son together. His name is how do you pronounce it? It's like Rekka, I think. And they live in outside of a community, and they are kind of in the woods, separate from everyone else, and children are starting to go missing. So Orca, her big thing is she has to protect her family. That's not so easy. And in the town where she belongs to, that town is about to get swallowed up by a war-crazed queen. So it's a big political struggles where the farmers and the hunters and everyone understand that they will get pulled into war if they don't fight against this queen. But the leader of the town says, we have no choice, we have to follow the queen. So it's a whole political conflict, and it's a lot of corruption. The leader of the town is good, but she had people around her that are really, really corrupted, and it's a mess. And then we have Elvar, and in my language that means rivers. She belongs to a group of mercenary kind of people, and they hunt down these descendants of the gods and sell them as slaves. And she loves this work, and she loves her group, and she really, really admires the leader of the group. Not romantically, she just admires him. He's like her hero. But being with that group is not what her family wants for her. Her family has a very different idea what they want with her life. So for her it's a big struggle to follow her own will or to go with what her family wants that she detests. And she is a warrior-like person because she's in this mercenary group, and she is struggling and fighting to get a better position in the group, to get more respect, to get better jobs, and she wants to be someone you can depend on. And at the same time, what they do is they hunt down free people and turn them into slaves. And she does feel a little bit bad about that, but not as much as you would hope people would feel bad about that. And their group gets offered to find the secret place where you can still find remnants of the gods. And they make a contract to go to this place, and then they have to repay that in a big sort of way later on. So we have these three people that we follow, and in these stories you always know that these people will be connected in some way, but it's not really clear how that's going to be. So that's a big question mark throughout the book. The political infrastructure of the world is very tense. You can see a lot of things are like starting to move, and there's aggression and tension. Something will happen, you just don't really know. It feels like it's going to be a big war, and you're not sure what that will look like. But apart from that, we see that children are getting abducted, like all over the place they are getting abducted. Why? What's the intention? What's the meaning? And it's like a big mystery, and you get pieces of it. So you have that, the more supernatural part of the whole thing. So it's political and it's supernatural, and these will all come to a boiling point. What I love about this story is it's so original. The gods are dead and hated, and they want to the gods to stay dead, and everything that reminds you of the gods are like, it's abhorrent, it's, you want to see it dead. And throughout the book it's these magical creatures, these different kinds of creatures. Some of them can talk, some of them want to eat your teeth, and it's just very creative. And we have the language where he mixes in a lot of Scandinavian words, so much Icelandic, and I both like that and get a bit frustrated with it because I get thrown around. I don't think I would react on the use of different languages as much if I didn't understand languages used, because then it would just be garble. So for me it's a bit of a struggle, while it's fun at the same time, so I'm conflicted. I don't feel like there's a problem with the pacing. Pacing is very good, and the chapters aren't too long, so even if you're in this really interesting chapter with Orka, then you move to Varg, and that's not a problem because soon you will go back to Orka, and then Elvar, yeah, she's interesting too, and so it's not difficult to switch point of view because you know you will soon get back, and you feel that every time you jump to a new point of view, you always feel, oh, but I wanted to know. So I don't feel that one is more interesting than the other. They're all very interesting. I can't even say which one of Varg, Orka and Elvar that I like the most. It's Orka. Yeah, it's Orka. So I really recommend this book. It's heart-wrenching. I cried a lot. It's enraging. It's thrilling. It's hard to put down. And the next book looks like this. Another gnarly, messed up god, I think, maybe. So please read.